Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the TradeMarke. We are here with Mike Zeppetello, consultant and marketing lead at Powerhouse Consulting Group. Super excited to dive into the data culture kind of mindset ways that I love that Powerhouse is all about. And we're excited to get started. So let's go ahead and do the intro.
Step into the TradeMarke, your go-to podcast for everything marketing in the trades. Hosted by award-winning industry marketing experts Sarah Ghirardo from Remarketable and Eric Thomas from Rival Digital. Together, we're here to unite the worlds of trades and marketing, bringing you insights, stories, and strategies from the heart of the industry. Whether you're a trade professional, a marketing expert, or somewhere in between, this is the place for you. Listen in as we're here for the big ideas, the game changers, and the everyday successes. Because at the TradeMarke, we're with the trades and for the trades.
So, Mike, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being on.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about you and how you got started and all the good.
Yeah, well, I'm from the Chicagoland area. Grew up in the trades, more of a handyman business with my grandfather's business, and then got into the digital marketing world 5-6 years ago. Landed a job in a digital marketing company for the trades, and then jumped on software and software consulting very soon after that.
Yeah, so you did it the right way. Like you saw the opportunities and you were like, this is what we need to do. So you were a part of the handyman world. What was that like growing up?
Well, it was the family business. I grew up, following my grandfather around from job to job. It was primarily gutters, siding, and windows. And then any other thing the community pretty much needed, he would outsource or subcontract HVAC, plumbing work, painting work. And then with me, especially when I was younger, it was very much, taking care of the community. I would be cleaning the gutters while he was taking care of something else for the neighbor. Sometimes we got paid for those side jobs in, lasagna from the neighbor and things along those lines.
Oh, I love it.
Very much the family style start. And then professionally did different things in different industries. And when I got back to computers and digital marketing, the trades was like coming back home.
I love it. Yeah, the trades it feels like home to me. And so now you're working at Powerhouse, and I know Powerhouse is all about leading a data-driven culture. So tell me what that means to you and what you do in your role at Powerhouse to help that.
Yeah, when it really comes to data and marketing, they go very hand in hand. I'm not going to try to give the whole origin story of PCG, but the couple of the founders started on the marketing side, realized that to get good marketing, they needed good data. And that was like the genesis of Powerhouse. And now my primary role is really strategizing the marketing, getting what we can out of the current data that the customer has in their account and available to them, and then identifying areas and workflows to better prepare their team to gather good data for us to utilize in the marketing side.
I love that. Yeah, good data in, good data out. And I know Powerhouse is always about that. I've been working with Pam and Jenny for a long time, and watching their growth has been absolutely phenomenal. But watching their growth and how they have literally changed the lives and the businesses of the trades, extraordinary, just absolutely extraordinary. And so you're playing inside of a lot of their CRMs and you're learning the data as you go. What opportunities have you seen that we all need to kind of be aware of when it comes to streamlining our marketing data?
Well, first and foremost, it's the understanding of ServiceTitan and the next generation of these CRMs and these softwares. You need to have a level of data savviness to utilize it very well. And then from that understanding that you either want to have, a solid in-house understanding or employ consultants or something along those lines to be able to get up to speed with all the new tools that are available in there. And then from that, it's all about understanding that it's more than just a spreadsheet of marketing information and contact information, it is a constant flow of data coming in from all of your users, your CSRs, your techs in the field, your comfort advisors, and understanding that, okay, looking at what we can grab on the baseline for base communications and base marketing triggers from the CRM, and then making sure that the team is very abreast of the initiatives we're working on and the why behind each action that they do on the CRM so that we have good marketing data for good market growth.
Yeah. I think as even if you had an internal marketer and there's internal and then there's external, right? If you have that internal marketer, and even if you're a big company, it's sometimes like, oh, we have so many other channels to manage that we are like touching just the tip of the iceberg versus really understanding the full data structure inside of the CRM. Because what you said resonated very highly with me was it's about leveraging the existing customers because there is a mine of like just gold everybody is sitting on. I think that they don't really understand that, which is totally fine. What you don't know, you don't know. But when you do, you have to take significant action, right?
Abs-
Um,
Absolutely. And when it comes to marketing, old school marketing, or the average person sees marketing as very nice design and advertisements and coupons and things along those lines. But marketing really is the strategy and the game of business. And the thing that a really strong CRM, strong data, and strong team really does is make sure that your current customers, first and foremost, know everything that you offer, are abreast of anything that's new coming available for their homes. But mainly, when it's time and they have a need, they don't look anywhere else. They don't go into the market and Google search anything. They just pick up the phone and call you directly or go to that most recent promotional email or most recent communication to get what they need directly from you.
mm-hmm. Yeah. As marketers, we have to create a frictionless, zero-click kind of experience. And it's a lot of work. It's a big job. And knowing our data will only help us be more sophisticated, but we'll also like understand where the market has shifted, which is the personalization in the experience. And I think like that's really there's the data set, but like what's the why behind the data, and that's that personal experience that we're giving people of the rehash that didn't happen and the nurture that should happen. Yeah. So I really,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And at the core of taking care of somebody's home, that focus on hospitality at the end of the day. Of course, on the marketing and data side, we're just trying to be really clever and make sure we reach out to that customer exactly when they have need. But at the same time, it's why do we focus on that? It's really to take care of our customers and take care of their homes.
Yeah, most definitely. I love that. And so, how would you recommend businesses ensure that they have data integrity and reliability to make sure that they can have informed decisions?
It very much is, like I alluded to before, making sure that everyone is as strong at the system as possible, that nobody on the team is if afraid to ask questions if they don't know exactly how to execute something out in the field or in the office. And when it really comes down to it, it's a whole team effort to make sure that at all points we're gathering that data and understand the why behind the initiatives. A great example is equipment and equipment data, especially in HVAC and any trades that have larger equipment that has a lifetime to it. It's important to get that equipment data, not just when we install it for warranty purposes, but it's important to get it when we're servicing it or anytime we can interact with the customer and gain more data. Then we can take that equipment data and create robust nurturing campaigns and communications around it.
Yeah, it starts in the call, really. The customer service representative has more power than they think because they have power of the input and they have power of the output. And again, good data in produces good data out, right? And so my advice, and I don't know, I would love to hear yours. I start with a call. And as a marketer, I can develop a piece of awesome content to send out to everybody. But if I don't train the CSR and give them a script, then I have failed. If I don't give my technicians a script, then I have failed. If I don't give my installers a script, then I have failed. My salesperson, it goes through the entire customer journey, right? Because my job is to make the phone ring, but we all have individual jobs that go along with making the phone ring. So that's the one piece of advice that I can give you is that, supply people with enough information to help bridge the gap between marketing and, and the data and everything that they're doing. Would you say that that's something that you coach people on when you help them out?
Absolutely. I would say there's kind of three calls that are really strong within that, like you said, customer journey. That initial call, like you said, making sure that the script is on point and all the proper questions are asked to make sure that that experience is as seamless as possible. Then the next call, I would say, within the marketing cycle would be, let's say we send out a promotional email, and with ServiceTitan's great data, we know who's opened that email and possibly has digested that information. So right then is another opportunity to reach out and call and say, hey, I saw that you've read this email about our new HVAC technology. Do you have any questions? Just a very friendly, we are the experts in the area. Let me know if you have any questions. And then the third piece, the third call, is that happy call a couple weeks after they've gotten any level of job. Obviously, the bigger jobs, the installs, that should be a no-brainer. If you're not doing that as a company, get on that right now. But if there's not a lot of installs, even just that quick QC from a service or a smaller job makes the customer feel better, makes them feel part of the community, and then really helps you make sure you wrap up those loose ends. Did you get those emails? Oh, if you didn't get them, check your spam. I'm looking at your equipment and I see that there's 2 water heaters on here. I'm going to go ahead and update all of your information. Can I verify the rest of the information? And things like that, to be cleaning the data afterwards at the same time.
I love that. Yeah. You can continue the conversation, but also gather the information that you need to continue to clean the data. So you're just like cleaning all the time. And I think like data integrity is probably one of the things that people are learning, especially in the trades and business owners. They're like, oh, well, we started with a spreadsheet. We started with paper. It went to a spreadsheet. And now we have a CRM. And so now we're learning how to do this, but knowing that each piece of information that you capture is so incredibly important, right? Yeah. So that's the most amazing thing that I want to keep telling people. It's like, it's about that data.
Yeah, 100%. And to add a little value too is, again, with ServiceTitan, such an amazing tool, you're able to have dashboards. So that data you can see in real time instead of waiting for a need or having a chore weekly or monthly to go see if that data is accurately being gathered. You can create dashboards in ServiceTitan to make sure that you stay abreast of that. And even further, you could create alerts that if something is amiss or there's a gap in the data, the system will alert you saying, hey, this job was run. We don't have an install date on this. Go ahead and update that. And then you can either check the job, check the CSR, or coach whoever missed that piece of the data.
Yeah, because it's an entire team effort, right? If a technician notices that something is not correct, you can add in that piece of data or put it in the notes and say, hey, go add in this piece of data for us if they don't have access. So great tip. Love that. What made you want to get into this side of the business? Because I mean, you're a marketer. I love it. You're talking about data, but like there's a passion here. I hear it in your voice. So tell me more about this passion.
Well, I would say it's kind of twofold. First is just my love for business. I went to college for business, grew up in a family business, and understanding that there's a lot of different buckets, especially the primary business owner, especially when they get started. If they were in the field before and want to open their own shop, all of a sudden they have to wear multiple hats. They're the accountant, the marketer, the salesperson, the operations management, and at the end of the day, the firefighter. So really my interest in being able to support businesses or even eventually run a business from end to end is what gravitated me towards software, because an integrated solution like ServiceTitan is an end-to-end, fully integrated office support software for the trades. The other side, it really comes from the practicality of delivering what you promise, right? So a good adage or a concept in the sales world is you have to be intimately knowledgeable with operations to make sure that you can sell the product and keep your promises. If I say, yes, your windows will be in 7 days, but I didn't realize there was an operational issue that's pushing back the delivery of that product to my techs in the field to install those windows, then now I got the customer excited. I got them happy and sold the product. They're excited for the value of the product, but then the actual execution and service is going to lack because I was not abreast of what's going on operationally. And that's what's great about being in the software side now is you really, at the click of a button, or like I said, those dashboards, can stay on top of every little piece.
Yeah, your marketing is only as good as your operations.
100%.
Most definitely, 100%. And so what would you suggest that someone goes into, like, using someone like Powerhouse at the very beginning, so their setup structure is proper? Or what, I mean, I know you go in usually to clean up, right? But like, what advice would you have for someone at the beginning?
I would say, all phases, you don't necessarily have to sign up with anybody full time, but if you are just starting to adopt ServiceTitan as a software, it's good to kind of get that the baseline understanding of the workflows to get your business up and started with it, identifying that internal champion and utilizing someone like Powerhouse to make sure that person is fully ready to take on the duties of managing or being the point person of the software. If you are a shop that's rolling pretty well, no matter what, like I said earlier, you just have a flow of data at all times. So periodically, quarterly, biannually, calling in someone from Powerhouse or, having a specific project for Powerhouse to kind of go in, identify those gaps, update those workflows, help update your internal SOPs by all means. To what you said before, the more difficult thing for both the company and for even solid consulting team like Powerhouse is if problems have been existing for months or years, to bring us back to even and clean all that stuff up will take considerably more time than if we were just staying ahead of it. Sounds very similar to like keeping maintenance up on your equipment in your home as well.
Yeah, I think we can relate a lot of that back. Everything that we do, I work to relate it back to their business so that they understand. But that was such a good point. It's that, you want customers just as much as you want business. But like, how do I say this? Like, you have to keep up with your business in relations to the data and the CRM and all of this. And you have so much to do that sometimes we think about, well, I can do this. I can sit down and I can learn this and you can. But hiring people to help you will get you there faster, because the end goal is to make sure that you have automation set up properly and that you're as efficient as possible in all businesses, right? And so,
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what Powerhouse does a great job of. It's like, I would start it at the beginning of onboarding with a software. I'd be like, hey, I need an expert to go out and learn this, pass off the SOPs to me, help me understand where I need to delegate this to, and help me understand who I need to hire, right? Because that's really a big thing. You said it first. You said you need to have an admin, and you do need to have an admin of your software because it's so big. So yeah, so what all services does Powerhouse provide?
Everything as it pertains to your field software, everything from getting your set up, helping you very closely even with implementation, with the ServiceTitan or your field software team on the implementation side, the very close point after implementation, and then any singular bucket in the software. As we know, there's so much to know for one person to put into their brain that it's highly difficult. So, if you need your accounting team wants to focus on some initiatives and creating SOPs and developing good practices, then you can do that with Powerhouse and do a targeted project. On the marketing side, if you're just starting to adopt the tools, you can do a targeted project to get your marketing up and rolling and do of course, one of my primary things to do is making sure that your system is clean, your data is as clean as possible, and also identifying potential other enhancements, and then dispatching and dispatch board and getting the system ready for the Pro Tools or making sure that you're getting the most out of the Pro Tools. We do everything you can possibly need. And one thing I like about Powerhouse and our team is that each of us are full on end-to-end coaches. We are good at all areas, right? But some of us are specialists in specific areas.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a club member, we call them, and you work directly with like me on the marketing side because that was your primary need, but very quickly we understand or realize that your price book needs a lot of love. I can help get the ball rolling, but if we really need to create a focused project on price book, I have a team of price book and inventory experts to really help supercharge even me to service you better.
Yeah. Because for me, when I was working in the software, in the business, I didn't want to know it all at that point in time because I was like, okay, price book looks intimidating. Like, I don't want to touch the accounting stuff. That doesn't make sense for my role. You need to make sure that what you're assigning people makes sense for their roles. And I love that you're focusing really on marketing. And so let's dive into that just a little bit. What opportunities do you see utilizing Marketing Pro that the trades, like what do they come to you and talk to you about?
Really just making sure that they have a sound strategy in place. One of the strategies I like to employ is really looking at the CRM as a whole, as it pertains to marketing, as well as the marketing tools. So even the customer communication, like you said, the first point of contact when you're on the phone, having a script and having, the team all being on the same page. Then the automated operational triggers under customer communications whether it's booking confirmations, dispatch confirmations, or reminders, having those clean and concise and understanding and sitting in the customer's chair and understanding how much they're getting communicated to. So it's nice and clean and classy. And then fortifying that with the marketing tools, whether it's during the customer journey, if you're a brand new customer and thank you so much for trusting us with coming to your home. Here's a list of all the services we provide. That's kind of like a sales support for your tech, where I know I'm here to focus on this issue, but are there any other parts of your home that I could look over while I'm here? Did you get that email? And then it kind of helps support that part of the process with communications like promotional communications and educational communications. It just keeps your company top of mind. So when a need arises, like I said at the beginning, they don't think about anyone else except you. And to your point about the remarketing abilities of the system, those nurturing campaigns, sometimes something as small as happy holidays, we're here if you need us during this holiday season, and a reminder of when we're available to you just makes people feel at ease that they have a lot of things to juggle. And if something is amiss, they have someone backing them up.
Yeah, I was talking to another marketer online and he was like, holiday emails don't work. And I was like, I don't know. He was like, it's my personal opinion. There's facts, there's personal opinions. Holiday emails are a nurture. And how many people would expect a holiday email from their plumber? Right?
Right.
Not many. And so you do the things that are unexpected. You surprise and delight. And it doesn't always have to be offer after offer after offer, because that's, taking marketing to the level of it's only for you when really it's not even for you, it's for them. And so I think that, what you were saying was giving them content throughout the entire journey and continuing the conversation even after the journey is complete, because the journey for us should never be complete, right? Yeah.
And absolutely. And, well, when it comes to the other marketers saying holiday emails don't work, if you're forcing it and every holiday that pops up on your, Google holiday calendar, you try to create something around, that just turns into noise. But you can add value to those. Like we said, it doesn't have to be an offer. It could be some sort of education, or during this season, make sure you do X, Y, and Z to make sure your home stays healthy. And another opportunity within regular communications, monthly and every once in a while if there's another need, is really creating community. So just notifying them that you're doing some sort of charitable support for your community, or just something positive like your high school volleyball team just made it to state, and hey, we just want to say we're proud of our local high school volleyball team. Something small like that creates that community and can be tactfully employed through a good CRM and good marketing data.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's, stop thinking about yourself and think about them, right? Be where they are at, not where you are at. And those community things are huge. Talking about the community, being in the community, it's not that. And I think people have the perception of, well, when I talk about what I do in the community, am I being humble? Am I being kind? Well, yeah, you're supporting people, And so I think rethink the strategies that you're doing right now to involve people, because the more you involve people, the higher open rates you get, right? If I'm showcasing a technician that maybe just got an award, how cool is that? That can help my hiring process, right? Because you have a bunch of moms, dads, grandparents, all the uncles, aunts, everyone out there on your list. And what if they have people that they know that want to be in the trades? It's not just you're sending one to one, you're sending one to a community.
Yeah. And I think you nailed it with even always be recruiting, and your marketing does a lot more than just tries to move the needle. It has other opportunities that can help fill things in. And also, especially when you look at internal operations, back to how marketing ties into operations, if you are communicating well to your customer base, you're not chasing them down to get their tune-up or to get their recurring service event. They know it's time for them to call in, say hi to their, local friendly home service and get ahead of it. And you're actually internally saving a little bit of that labor burden, because you are keeping that communication and almost training your customers to communicate right back to you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I love that. And so what are your favorite things to start out the door with as campaigns? Like, say you're using Marketing Pro, what are the initial campaigns that you will set someone up with?
Well, I would say they're mostly based on the customer journey, and I have two that I like to start with, but there's a little caveat to those two. So the ones that I call base triggers would be a new member or new customer welcome. Like I said before, it's just a great way to make them feel like they're being taken care of as soon as they interact with your company. And it just makes you look very professional. And then the post job completed, obviously with reputation management, there's going to be things that set out to try to get those surveys to get your Google reviews up. But after that process, just saying thank you for having me here and giving another point of contact and just appreciation. And then the nurturing ones, like we alluded to, I haven't heard from you in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're still here. If you need anything, quick reminder, here's what we can do for you. And then the other two foundational ones are the ones that have a little bit of you got to earn them, right? So we have unsold estimates. Obviously, you're spending money to have your comfort advisor or your salesperson go out there and look over and quote jobs for your customers. And you want to have something to support that process. Now, why do you have to earn it? You have to have a process around that sale. So you give your comfort advisor, if they go ahead and close it right there, they have to know, okay, close it, sell the estimate into a job, but then I'm going to dismiss the things that might trigger the unsold estimate because it's not unsold anymore. It's sold, and we want to make sure we clean it out for that good communication. And then also, we want them to follow up properly. It is the salesperson's job to do so, but we want to be in lockstep with that operation of the sale to make sure that the supporting marketing, whether it be email or SMS, triggers after we know that the salesperson has done their due diligence and is now moving on to other things to make sure that it falls in line with that process. The other one, as I said with the recurring services, is recurring services and your membership setup. It's great to have the system try to have your customers call in to book their services, but if your system is not set up clean and you have a good, strong membership program, and if you have a large enough shop to have a coordinator, that's great. And we want to trigger that email as long as we're sure that the system around recurring services is nice and tight. The reverse of both of those is scary stuff. If you don't have them set up properly, especially if you're just trying to employ SMS, you can sour grapes very quickly. If you send an email out or an SMS that is not timed properly, it can be confusing or even lead that customer to have a good experience and then very shortly not love their experience because they feel like they're getting pushed into something.
Yeah. I see how that could happen. And I think that goes back to if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one, because a lot of people will just send out blast on SMS or blast on email or direct mail prospecting. It is a blast, right? That's our job. But, really understanding that, again, it's about the experience and the personalization, and the data is the personalization. So what did, what didn't, and what can happen is like what we look for. And honing in on that specialization for that person is developing a persona-based, like, actual campaign that means something to them. And that's the marketer we want to be. We want to be mindful marketers. But sometimes, data does go awry. And we have someone on a list that is going to not supposed to be there. And that's okay. Now, but if we have all of our lists that shouldn't be there, that's not okay, right? So we have to teach our team to fail forward. Well, as a marketer, we're like, oh, we'll fail forward from this. But hey, flip the script, book the call in some ways. Because if they called you and they're like, hey, I was just out here for service, I sincerely apologize that you got that. If it wasn't about their service, sincerely apologize that you got that. We'll work to remove you off the list. However, how was the service? Right?
Yeah, use it as an opportunity, 100%.
Yeah, most definitely. So this is such a great episode because you gave so many great nuggets of how to get started, how to make sure that your data is clean and has integrity. What advice would you want to give a business owner about what should they do with their data in the beginning, and like how can we really provide them value from all of your knowledge?
I would really say it's understanding that it's a process. It's not just something where you say, employ a shop like Powerhouse Consulting Group and say, it's a mess, clean it. We can do that. We could go there and clean it and leave you with clean data. And then in 5, 6, 7 months, you'll be like, it's a mess again. We need you again. Right? So obviously, cleanup is part of the approach of how we manage projects for the team, but it's also identifying the core needs, making that strategy, making that plan, and then having a proper phased approach to make sure not only are you getting the most out of the support that's being offered to you from Powerhouse, but your internal champion is adopting those processes and champions all of your users. And then also you as the owner or the admin, or like I said, that ServiceTitan champion, being intimately knowledgeable about the controls, like the dashboards and the reports that PCG can help you develop so that you can stay on top of it. And then at the end of the day, it's really a process and things change and update all the time. So you got to give yourself a little bit of a break. Don't beat yourself up that you're not so perfectly on top of everything all the time, because even someone like me and my team, we do this all day, every day, and we still need each other to stay abreast of all the new tools on the positive side or the new challenges that one person that has faced. So yeah, give yourself a little bit of a break. There's no way to know everything 100% from end to end with any software, especially something as robust as ServiceTitan.
Yeah, most definitely. Give yourself grace and time. I think sometimes we were just on the other podcast and he was like, you know, we don't really give ourselves the time to learn and to lean in together to learn. And instead we give ourselves time in where we have to go back and correct it. But if we did it the opposite way, like how much further could we get ahead? Right?
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
yeah. Well, Mike, I really appreciate you being on the podcast and you did an amazing job for your first podcast. We can't
Thanks.
wait to have you back on. Listeners, if you're out there, please leave us a review. We are so excited that you joined us today and we hope you have an amazing day. Make it a great day.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.